So my final project presentation is over a case presentation of Fight Club and Ed Norton. In this movie, the character Ed Norton is, in the beginning, a unknown character. He had no name. They never mentioned it in the first place. But he had trouble sleeping, which also is known as insomnia, and wakes up in various places without really realizing how he got there. He is very organized and would buy designer things like furniture, workout machines, kitchen appliances, but it never really filled his void of being depressed. He was depressed and had feelings of being trapped. He would go to support groups and for diseases that he didn't have, but for him, crying seemed to help him sleep at night. Uh, Towards the beginning of the movie, he would see pop ups of Tyler until he met him later on, or not later on, but towards the beginning of the movie on a plane. Um, Throughout the movie, Tyler seemed to have the same situations relevant to Ed Norton's life. He would even talk for Ed Norton after nights of Fight Club. Whenever he had been beaten up, he had scratches, he had blood on his face, and a lot of the times he couldn't recall or had lapse in time of things that he couldn't remember. The psychological disorder being diagnosed in this movie was dissociative and somatoform disorders. The disorder is dissociative identity disorder, which is two or more distinct personality traits, which may be described as an experience of possession in some culture. Dissociative amnesia in individuals of reoccurrence gaps in the recall of everyday events, lapse in dependable memory, and discovery of evidence of their everyday actions and tasks that they do not recollect doing. Symptoms cause significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other areas of functioning, which throughout the movie, Ed Norton had a lot of memories that he couldn't recall, woke up in various places that he doesn't remember, would wake up with bruises, scratches, bleeding, and couldn't really remember why. Supporting the diagnosis. Ed Norton, or the no-name character, towards the end of the movie realizes that he is Tyler Durden. He created Tyler because Tyler was the person he wishes he could be. Everything Tyler was, outgoing, fearless, was everything Ed Norton was not. Tyler had night jobs, but Norton also had insomnia, so he couldn't sleep. Norton thought Tyler had rented a house, but it was in Norton's name. The memories throughout the movie that Ed Norton thought was all Tyler's doing was actually Norton, because he's coming to the realization that he is Tyler. He created the alter ego of him, version of himself, Brad Pitt, because he couldn't deal with life on his own. Possible treatments for dissociative identity disorder. Psychotherapy, which is the main goal, is to separate the personalities into one cohesive, unified personality, unless the person with identity disorder is not ready to work with the trauma. It involves techniques that help work through the trauma that triggers the dissociative symptoms, uncovering and quote-unquote mapping the parts, treating the traumatic memories, and fusing the alters, and to combine the newly integrated personality. Family therapy helps to inform the family about identity disorder and what causes it, to understand the changes that can take place as the personalities change. This also may produce negative and traumatic memories for the identity patient, which can hinder the clinical process. Group therapy for mainly with dissociative orders. Person with identity disorder can sometimes have setbacks because others may be disturbed by the personality switches. There are no medications to treat identity disorder because it's not an organic or chemically imbalanced disorder. However, antidepressants and anxiolytics might help with the mood disorders. Clinical hypnosis, implanting false memories by suggestion, can be used in conjunction with psychotherapy, but only with a trained therapist. Can help clients access repressed memories, control problematic behaviors such as self-mutilation, and eating disorders, which help fuse the personalities during the integration process. the psychological disorder in this film. This is the part where he finally realizes what he actually is going through and what he has. Dissociative identity disorder, again, this disorder portrayed in the film is very accurate to the DSM-5 clinical diagnosis. He creates this alternative identity to deal with his life. Ed Norton, who we later find out is Tyler Durden, starts to have those distinct personality traits like becoming more fearless and outgoing and getting what he wants. Before he created Tyler, he would wake up in different places without remembering how he got there. Coped with the depression by going to the support groups for a disease that he didn't have. Once he met Tyler, his life began to change. Tyler had night jobs again, later finding out he had those jobs because of Norton's insomnia and he couldn't sleep. Renting a house in Tyler's name and creating Fight Club itself was all Norton's alter ego, Tyler Durden, which, again, was the version of him he always wanted to be. So, basically, throughout this entire film, Ed Norton had created Tyler because he couldn't deal with his life. He wanted to find something more, but decided to create Tyler because he let him be the person he wanted to be. So, again, with the dissociative identity disorder, it helped him become that person, although he didn't remember or had relapses or would wake up in places that he doesn't remember. Identity disorder accurately describes what's going on in the movie with Ed Norton and Brad Pitt, who played Tyler Durden throughout the movie, but later leaves, and we finally come to realize that Ed Norton is Tyler Durden.